All right, good afternoon. Let us please stand and receive Pastor William Mitchell. Pastor.
Thank you for having me again. Let's pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the gift of this day and the opportunity to gather together as servants of our community. We ask for your wisdom to guide the discussions made in this chamber. God, grant us patience, humility, and clarity to each one of us here, that we may seek the good of all who call this their city, their home. Bless our leaders, our citizens, and those who labor each day to keep our community safe, healthy, and strong. May our words and actions reflect justice, compassion, and respect for one another. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right, I will now call this meeting to order. All right, Tina, if you would please call the roll.
Mayor Young,
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox, Commissioner Greenlee,
Present.
Commissioner Murphy,
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. At this time, we will open for public forum. And again, persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for informational purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk. At this time, I open public forum. Is there anyone? And at this time, I close public forum. All right. Mr. Westhoff, if you would please present our consent agenda, and we're welcoming our city manager, Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say.
All right, on the consent agenda, we have 4 items tonight. First is to approve the meeting minutes from the September 2nd, 2025 City Commission meeting. The second is to adopt Resolution 3427, authorizing staff to submit grant funding application to KDOT for improvements on the Unity Street corridor. This is to potentially extend the sidewalk project that is scheduled for next year, a little further down the street. The third is to approve registering Mayor Young, Commissioner Slattery, and City Manager Mark Westhoff as voting delegates for the 2025 Annual LKM Business Meeting and Convention of Voting Delegates. The fourth is one that we added, so that's why we have an amended agenda for tonight, is to authorize the city manager to execute the municipal agreement for the State of Kansas Set-Off Program. It's an agreement we take part in every year. They gave it to us with an end-of-the-month deadline, so we needed to get it into this meeting. It's a way that we are able to collect delinquent utility payments through the state's program.
Okay. All right, very good. Any questions for Mr. Westhoff? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda as read.
Okay, is there a second?
Second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And Mr. Westhoff is going to stick with us through resolution number 3428, MIH and KHITC applications.
Okay, so this is a resolution of support. So the city does not have any financial stake in this, positive or negative. These programs, the KHITC and the MIH program, are funded through the state of Kansas. They require a municipality to submit a letter of support to the developer or for the developer's project so that it can get on the state's agenda to consider. This application is for new apartments at the 1913 apartments, the old YMCA, and then one new apartment at the Central School. Just wanted to confirm, it's 3 apartments at 1913 and 1 new apartment at the Central School. So these programs have been really successful in the past. They've been utilized at both of those locations in the past, as well as a number of others in town. It's looking like this might be the last year for some of them. with the state. They don't look like they're funding them into the future, so it's kind of a last effort to get some of this money to go into this local development. So there's the resolution, like I said, is simply of support for the project. We don't have any financial stake in it, positive or negative.
Okay. All
Do we
right.
need a motion on that?
We do, and I think this is a great thing to do. It fits within our plan
Yes.
for the city, and I think it's something that we need to do. So yes, we do. Would you?
I move that we adopt Resolution 3428.
Okay, thank you.
Name it the Justin Resolution.
Okay, all right, it's been moved and seconded that we pass resolution number 3428, and that we adopt resolution number 3428, and authorize the city manager to sign related application documents. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same side. Motion carries. Okay, item number 2, Mr. Westhoff,
Me
City
again.
of Atchison Credit Card Processor Invoice Cloud.
Yes, so earlier this year, we made a presentation to the city commission that the rates on our credit card and other card payments had gone up and to around 11% when you did the math on every transaction, and the city had been covering that. We received direction from the city commissioners to try to attempt to negotiate a lower rate with our current card processor, and to pass on the fees to the end user so that we're not using tax dollars to pay for those credit card fees. We were able to negotiate a lower rate with our current processor, but the lowest that they would offer is 6.25%. And so then we did go out for, and spoke with a handful of other companies to try to get to a lower rate. One came in at 3.75%. Another was also at 3.75%, and then Invoice Cloud, who received a recommendation from a number of other cities in the state, their rate was 3.15%, which was considerably lower than any other. City staff was also impressed with Invoice Cloud's portal, their website. It was very user-friendly. They are willing to help the city with the transition process, reach out to residents for us to help them kind of get set up on the new system, and then handle the payments and have that 3.15% passed on to the end user through their website. Like I said, they work with other cities and counties. They work with our financial software company, Tyler, with many of those cities and counties. So they have a process for reconciliation at the end of the month. And in the end, it costs the city $50 a month for this service, and then they have the fee that goes to the end user. Couple notes for this: they will going with Invoice Cloud will expand the available payment options to anyone who wants to continue paying, online. In this way, it will open up Google Pay, Apple Pay, a lot of the payment apps that people like to use. Those will all be available through Invoice Cloud as well as we will still have our internal processes for payments where you don't have to pay a fee. So we'll get that word out to residents that if they don't want to pay any fees, there are payment options available for that. So we would like to get this going. I don't think that we're going to be able to meet that October 1st deadline that the City Commission asked us for. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that, but we will go as quickly as we can, and as quickly as we can with Invoice Cloud to get that rolled out as soon as possible. So.
Okay, and my understanding is that Invoice Cloud will have, that 3.1% will go directly to Invoice Cloud.
Correct.
It will not go to the city.
Correct. It will never pass through the city's budget, which was another benefit for us.
Okay, very good, very good. Any questions for Mr. Westhoff? Okay. And I
We need a
would-
motion on that, too?
We absolutely do. Would
I
you-
move that we authorize the staff to hire us Invoice Cloud.
Okay, and is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize staff to hire Invoice Cloud for $50 per month to allow the city to continue to accept electronic and card payments for invoiced items at a lower fee for the end customer, and authorize the city manager to sign the statement of work. Any other questions, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will get those announcements out online and in the bills. So,
All right, wonderful, and thank you for the hard work on that. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
good job.
thanks.
All right, communications.
Okay, so we have a letter from Atchison County. They notified the city a few weeks back now, or a few days back now, that they are planning to terminate their participation in the neighborhood revitalization plan, which the city, county, and school district have this agreement in place that allows a tax rebate on new builds or on larger renovation projects within city limits. Depending on where you're located, those rebates are a little different. The county has said they would like to withdraw from that. Just as a note, we did reach back out to the county and say we would like to be part of that conversation. So I haven't heard back from them officially, but when they respond, we're going to request a joint workshop between the city commission and the county commission to discuss this plan and where it might go instead of withdrawal, or if they are really dead set on withdrawing from it. We've also reached out to the other taxing entities to let them know that this would be open to them as well if they want to join that joint workshop, if it happens. And then we have 3 letters from the Kansas Historical Society on the 2 properties in town that earlier this year, they notified us that they were placed on the state historic registry. They're now notifying us that they are also been placed on the National Historic Registry. So that opens up other opportunities to those landowners for improvements on those properties. So doesn't impact us at all, but we were notified of it, and I think it's a positive step for those properties. So
Absolutely.
in informational items, we have the August financials. Nothing too noteworthy in there. Everything is looking pretty good. We are working on, Reagan and I, at the end of this quarter, we'll kind of go through and take a look at where each budget line is for the year, make sure that we're going to be under budget for the year. If we're not, then we'll try to project if we need to do an amended budget or not. Right now, everything looks okay, but we'll report back on that. One note, I guess we saw a spike in sales tax collection in July. In August, it came back down to about average, but that boost in July was a benefit, so.
Okay, very good. Mr. Westhoff,
Yes.
I have a quick question for you regarding item 1 under communications.
Yes.
The
Sorry.
rebate. Oh, no worries at all. So when does that 90-day clock start? So
Well, they adopted that on September 2nd.
Okay.
That's when the 90 days started. So then that would be beginning of December 1st.
December 1st, okay.
believe.
All right, and we have not heard back officially from the county? Is
No.
that what you said?
No.
Okay.
Informally, they've told me that, they're doing their budget process right now, and they'd get back to us formally after that's done.
Okay.
But I haven't received an official response from the board.
Okay, and then they just had their budget meeting, so hopefully we'll hear something soon.
I believe their official budget meeting is this Sunday.
Is it this Sunday?
So,
Okay, all right, so then hopefully sometime after that, we will hear from them.
Yes.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you for that clarification. Does anyone else have any questions?
I just
So-
have a question similar to yours. On this tax rebate program, about how many dollars does the city of Atchison put back in a home builder's or remodeler's pocket a year? Is it
So the rebate program is 95% of the improvement. So not on the, so 95% of the taxes on the improvement. So if you have an empty lot and you build a house, it comes out to about 95, slightly less than 95%, right, of your tax bill. On a renovation, right, if you've done $50,000 in work, then it would be 95% of the new taxes. It comes out through the life of the program for each one, it comes out to around 60%, I believe.
There's 2 different categories.
Yeah.
Well, there's a number of different categories depending on location,
Commercial.
type, and amount of investment. So it's hard to
Yeah.
say, for instance, a a new house in the Arbor Lane subdivision averages 63% over 7 years, and then you have a highly valuable asset or a highly valuable house for a long time. If it's commercial or industrial, or if it's inside what we call the target area meaning the oldest neighborhoods of Atchison. From memory, I could say that would be Harper Drive to the north, Green Street to the south. A little wonky when you're going west because there's not a clean cut there.
About 12th.
Yeah, there's a jag line in it, but the idea was that we were seeing, when this was first developed 10 years ago, we were seeing almost no new homes built in the old grid of the city, almost none, but we were tearing down 10 or 12 houses a year. I think everybody kind of inherently knows this, but missing teeth in a smile, or it degrades quickly. So we wanted to drastically increase those rebate values in the target area. Now we've seen some pretty successful infill building. I think if you talk to the folks, use Dustin Cox as an example. He moved his business from Weston to Atchison, in part because he saw that as a really attractive business. I think it's fair to say that we're pretty shocked by this sudden decision without much
And
previous conversation.
And the rebate follows the house, not the owner.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. You have to pay your taxes on time. There's other stipulations. And there's a step down period at the end of either one, no matter which one you qualify for. So if it's a 95% for 2 years, then there's 5 years of it steps down. So the homeowner isn't hit with suddenly a big tax bill in the first year off the rebate.
The other question I have, wasn't this centered around blighted areas originally, and then at one time it was like several sections of the city, and eventually the entire county became a blighted area?
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversation about this since that letter arrived, as you could imagine. The best I could tell, this program was initiated in the mid-1990s when there hadn't been much new housing development in Atchison in quite some time. The neighborhood revitalization statute at the state level, yes, is intended to be targeted. In Atchison, I wasn't worried about the Ninja Turtles in 1995. I wasn't worried about home construction. So at the time, I think the political climate was just such that I think the county basically said, well, if you're going to do it in the city, we want to do it everywhere. So yes, the entire county was deemed a neighborhood revitalization area. In 2016, and there was a little bit of different classification for commercial and industrial. In 2016 is when the new target area or the advanced area went into effect. That was a 5-year term. In 2021, so from 16 to 21, that was in place. In 21, right?
Yep.
Yeah, in 21, a new deal was put together where Huron and Effingham and other places that said, hey, Atchison's doing we'd like to see some of that development too. Can we do the advanced area? In 2021, everybody agreed to that. So the term of the current deal runs through 2031. Now, I do want to say, the developers and the investors and the builders that I've talked to in the time since we got this letter, I think everybody's open to a conversation about are we giving away too much because we're seeing a lot of construction? So I think it's a fair question to ask. Are the rebates too rich, given that we're seeing a lot of that happen? That's an incredibly fair question. Would love to have that conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Or is the area too big, or it should, I mean, there's lots of different, ultimately this is an interlocal agreement. So it can go however the parties want it to go. We could craft it, I mean, we have the state guiding law, but we can craft it under that kind of however we want. So that's kind of the reach out that I made to the county was, you want to withdraw, we want to hear your concerns, and then be part of the conversation about maybe instead of withdrawal, we can do some of these other solutions that might meet those concerns, or are you dead set on just withdrawing from it, in which case there will be an adjustment from us and from contractors. So we're not 100% sure based on the letter and the resolution how they feel about it officially as a board, Again, I've had some one-off conversations, but nothing official from them, and so that's why we're offering a joint workshop between the two elected boards to kind of figure out what those concerns are and how we might be able to meet those concerns.
Can the city do that on our own if the county opts out of it? You know?
Yeah, I mean, we can do it with the school district, we can do it on our own, we can do it with everybody but them, but, you take away more than a third of the, of the teeth of the program, so
Correct.
the benefit gets cut by more than a third, so.
And there's a legitimate policy question of, in some sense, that's allowing a critical partner sort of freeload on the program that the other two are offering. So that would be one perspective, is that there's an element of like, this is really strong if we all do it together, rather than have two partners participating, one not participating. I would think a more appropriate conversation would be dial back the rebate schedule, everybody's in it together. That would make more sense to me, but.
This reminds me of a deal where somebody was working on a commission and they got to making too much money, everybody thought. And so they wanted to cut the commission back. This program, if it's worked so good, the fact that we lost some revenue temporarily might be a good thing, actually, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that in 30 years, a large portion of the construction within city limits, for us, from our perspective, has gone through this program in one way or another, and that of that, some percentage would not have happened without it. Some percentage would have happened anyway, but some percentage would not have happened at all, in which case we would be down that tax base in general. There would be more of a tax burden on the rest of the residents of the city, and we would have less positive growth in the city, less new construction. So again, from the city's perspective, we think it's been a successful program. We're open to, I think that you all have said too, we're open to that conversation if there's something that might need to change with it. We just don't know fully yet kind of what the county's concerns are, and we'd like to hear what those are. I do know that their state form is public, our state form is public. About 50%, so the city's at about 50% of the county's total in this program. That means that about 50% of the entire program is within the city limits of Atchison. Now, we're more than 50% of the population of the county, so there may be some questions from them on the construction happening, in other parts of the county that we don't have too much of it's not even on our radar necessarily, because it doesn't happen within city limits for us. But there are definitely residents outside of the city who are taking advantage of the program as it's currently written, and not against the rules at all, but that could be part of their concern as well. And I just don't know for sure.
Well, reading some of the county's budget stuff, didn't their rebates back to the taxpayer was like $998,000?
That's not what I had seen.
I think it was just under $1 million. And I'm sure when they realized they were going to cut checks for almost $1 million, I said, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to see it.
And I'm not sure of that, but I think I read that right.
You can also look at that a portion of that wouldn't even be there without the program, right? So it's money missed out on in the short term that's guaranteed in the long term too. So you can also look at that as, within a certain number of years, we will have that in the tax base 100%. So there's a benefit there as well. And there's other programs that the city has used, that kind of go into our total, but don't have that step down effect. So, when those kinds of things end, we get that full chunk in the next year, and the county would too, because we're within the county. So again, we're happy to have the discussion with them if they're open to it. If they're not open to it, then we'll just have to prepare for what that looks like at the end of the 90 days.
Okay. All right, well, I think everyone agrees that working together is the absolute best policy, and really, in working together, we are providing incentives for not only the city to grow, but the county to grow, and that benefits everyone. Okay, so continuing on with your city manager update.
Updates at Elephant Park are continuing. You can drive by and see them going up. One note, the forms for the new splash pad are being put in on the ground so you can kind of see where it's going to be, what it's going to look like, which I know might be of interest. Our city crews are finished paving Riverview Drive, so that's done now, which was a bit of a process. It's a long road that was in some rough shape, and it's on the edge of a cliff, so there was some... We did it safely, so we're
That's
happy
good.
about that.
That's good. That's good.
The next step for the city street crew is Laramie Street. It's been closed off for a little while they're doing prep work. That prep work will continue, and then they'll start paving, I think you said within the next 10 days or so. First part of October. Okay, first part of October. We had a meeting, as I mentioned last week, we had a meeting with KDHE and the EPA on the EPA's inspection of our CSO and sewer system last winter. Overall, we didn't receive any, life-changing negative feedback. We definitely have some things that we can work on to make sure next time they come for an inspection, they get everything they need right away, but otherwise it was all, mostly positive. So we're happy about that. We made an offer to a new building inspector that was accepted today, so we are excited for our new building inspector who will start October 13th. And just as a reminder, our current building inspector, Phil, is retiring October 17th, so we wish him well as well. For the Raven Hills development, we were talking about that. Work on that new section of First Street between Riley and Laramie should start soon. They're going to be doing some grading and base work and hopefully working on paving this fall if weather cooperates. And then, as we said, the LKM conference is October 9th through 11th in Overland Park. So I will be there, the mayor and Commissioner Slattery. And it's always a great opportunity to work with other cities and counties, well, cities in this case, in the state, and see what's working for them or coordinate on problem solving. It's always a really good effort. So,
And you are right with counties, because we do have several counties that are members of LKM. Yep. All right. Okay, wonderful. Any further questions for Mr. Westhoff? Okay. All right, as always, great job. Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, we will have our governing body comments. Commissioner Greenlee.
Just to piggyback on what City Manager Mr. Westhoff mentioned, been by the Elephant Park and seeing the progress being made as far as the forms staked out and sidewalks and the splash pad. So that's encouraging, and the kids will be glad to see that installed and put to use.
Absolutely.
And also I don't know if any of you attended the Muddy River Music Festival this past weekend, but I think it was pretty well attended, and it was pretty daggone hot. So spent some time down there, but had a good time. I think everyone that attended had a good time.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Greenlee. Commissioner Murphy.
I really don't have anything. It's been hot. Now it's going to get cool.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Slattery. Okay.
Things looking good.
Okay, very good. In addition to Muddy River Days, we had the 49th Annual Forest of Friendship, and I was happy to be there. It's always wonderful to see all of the individuals represented there. It's international. It was wonderful, so thank you to Diane Leapsch and all of those who put that together. Really appreciated that. So at this time, if there is nothing further, yes, sir.
Excuse me, I just thought something. I see that they have a bid out for the sidewalk. Do we have to do anything on that, or is that Forest of Friendship?
Forest of Friendship, no, they secured a grant through MOCAN, the regional council that the city's part of, but they went directly with MOCAN, and they're doing that on their own. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Yeah, so.
Thank you, sorry there,
You're
I just
welcome.
had to think
no,
of that.
No, yeah, and again, congratulations to them on that, because that was a sizable
Yeah.
grant.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. All right, anything further? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make such a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shortest meeting in history.